All right, we've created the last part for activity 7.1. Let's go ahead and put it into a drawing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take an existing drawing, and let's just pretend that one's not there. I'm going to go into my place views, and I'm going to create a new sheet, and then let's place it in here. First view that we put in always has to be our front view, so if it shows up and it doesn't look like your best front view, move it around a bit until you find your best front view. So there's my best front view. I'm going to put in the other views, the top, the side, and the isometric. But it turns out that I'm noticing that the top and the side are strikingly similar, and so I don't want to be redundant here, so I'm going to remove the top and just leave the side, and that should be plenty to give all of the information that would be needed to create or inspect this part. Scale looks good. Let's go ahead with that. All right, so we're going to use a little bit of a different dimensioning format just to identify where these three holes are located. Let's start right off with that. Go to the annotate ribbon, and then we're going to go to this little tool on the symbols panel, and it's called centered pattern. We're going to start by setting things up so that we have this centered pattern. I think I actually need to back up and actually just put a center mark in here first. Let's put a center mark in. So I use the center mark tool here. I click on one of these circles, the smaller or larger one, either one would work, and we have a big center mark. All right, from here we're going to now use the centered pattern. So I click on there. First thing I click on is the center of where those three circles are patterned around. Then I click on each of the three circles. So this one, followed by this one, followed by this one. The trick here is to go back to the first one and click on it once more so that it creates these little center marks on each of the elements of that circular pattern. And you now have these nice little lines that we can use for further dimensioning. So we'll right mouse click create. And now we can go to our dimension tool. And if we grab two of these sort of center marks, notice how it puts in that nice angle, the angle between them. So 120 is the angle that we want, and we don't need to add anything to it. We're going to go ahead and set that in there. We're going to throw another one down here, and the third one would be redundant. That would fall under TMI. So we won't put that one in. Let's just adjust this so that it fits a little bit better in the space we have. Pull it in just a little bit. There we go. All right, we have our angle set. That's probably the most challenging part of this dimensioning this drawing. Let's put in a dimension now for this circle here. So this circle has a diameter of 0.17, but we're going to add a little bit more because we have three of these, and we also want to identify that that circle goes all the way through. So before this little shaded area that indicates where our dimension is, I'll do 3 capital X of that dimension. And so notice it's showing us up here what it's going to look like. And then after that, I'm going to put through, THRU, to say that each of those three holes that I'm identifying that has a diameter of 0.17, they all go all the way through. All right, we also need to dimension these other circles here. What's going to work better is to dimension those in this view where we see them on their side. So we're going to throw some dimensions over here, let's say from the top to the bottom of this. We actually want that to be a diameter dimension. Let me do that a little bit better. I think I can do better on that. Actually, I can just put in the diameter symbol at the beginning of this. So let me just throw that in. So we have the diameter symbol. It's a little bit of cheating, but it works. Okay, so that just makes sure that we know that that is an actual circle that's being dimensioned there. We're going to do that same piece right here. At the beginning of this, I will put in a diameter symbol. And let's move those so that they are not quite on top of each other there. And what we'll do is we'll stagger them just a little bit so that they don't run into each other. There we go. That looks good. We also need to dimension how deep each of these go. So we'll go to dimension. Actually, we can use the baseline for that. And we can say from here to here and here. Right mouse click, continue, and pop in those dimensions right there. Right mouse click, create. I guess the only other thing we need to do is actually dimension this, the distance from the center that these 3 holes are located. So we'll click there, put in this dimension here, which is the diameter of 0.14. And I think if I'm looking at this drawing, I think everything has a dimension that needs a dimension. I think that's all you need to do for this one.